episode of Empower716, the show for entrepreneurs, business owners, side hustlers, and career shifters, those who are committed to growing their business and life. We are at episode number 11. This is actually our final episode on a Monday. I am just excited. This has been a great season. We started October 4th. And so this has been a great journey. And so today I have the privilege and honor to have in the building. Well, I can't say building. It's a small little house. But I have the privilege to welcome here we have a young man by the name of Avion here. You're going to get to know him a little bit more shortly. And we also have Shuki Taylor in the building and Dante Taylor. Naylor, I'm sorry. So Dante got me together because I'm calling him a different last name. I said Taylor. He's like, He corrected me. What's up, Shuki?
What's up, Rob?
What's up, Dante? Hi. And then we have DJ Norman in the building. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Rob? How you?
Good, man. I can't complain. So I want to thank all of you for coming on the show. We're going to get to you guys in a second. So I'm a little bit all over the place. It's been a crazy weekend just for those who celebrated, those who celebrate Christmas. Hopefully everyone had a safe and a fun Christmas with the family and so forth. We know we also got to keep in mind that there are people who have lost loved ones during this time, so it could be set a lot of triggers for a lot of people. So we just want to keep those people who have lost loved ones and especially this year for the holidays and just keep those individuals in prayer. So let me see where we're going to start. So I think I have on my list, I just want to do some quick thank yous. But before we do that, we're going to just take 20 seconds for making sure to remind you that if you are watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn, or if you're listening to us on the playback and audio podcast or the playback on Facebook, just make sure you like, share. This really helps us as well. And we're going to show this quick video on how you do that and help support Empower716.
Want to stay up to date with Empower 716? Don't forget to share. Click here in the right-hand corner of the video and follow button below so you can see the upcoming episodes live on your news feed. Find Empower 716 on LinkedIn Live, YouTube, Facebook, and other audio platforms.
All right, so there we go. So just make sure you like and share. So I actually want to do a quick thank you before we get into talking with Avion Harris. I want to do some thank yous for the Empower Sixes. We have just a great amount of entrepreneur and business owners coming on the show, and I would just want to take a quick second to just show you guys the people who actually helped me along the way. And so actually I'll say about 20 years ago, I walked into True Bethel, and one of the first ministries that I was on was the AV, and it was actually helping the church, but then also helping Darius Pridgeon with his radio show at the time. And so we used to do it out of Subway, and so he's actually the first person on my list. And so I don't know if you show that picture, Charles, of so this was back when he had a hair. So I think click on the picture. What he had here, I can joke on him. So he's gonna bring it up in a second. So this picture actually, this is a messed up picture. My team, we found this picture, and so this is when he had hair. So he knows I can joke with him because I don't have hair either. But I learned I was volunteering working the AV because I had an interest of sound and video. And so for about a year, for the first, I think, at Subway, we would do the radio show and working with Charles Evar, who's here with me today. in the background producing the show, just learning and taking the time to learn all how you do everything. And so 15, 20 years later, so I'm thankful. So you always recognize for the people who helped you and showed you how to go. The other person I have next on the list is Tim Brodus. Tim, who has worked with me for quite some time doing photography and so forth. He has helped put the studio together from scratch and just kind of help along the way. So I got to give a shout out to him. And then for the guests who, like, we had some great guests. Sugar, I don't know if you watched some of the episodes from Dennis Wilson Jr., Tony Du Bois. We have my boy Karan Briggs, Valentino Shine Jr., my man Jonathan Johnson, Janice McKinney, The Quiet Builder, love her book. Larice Walker, man, she's blowing up all over.
Killing the game.
She is. I'm so proud of her. Lysandra Butler, she's gonna be on the show tomorrow, talking about financial goals for 2022. Then we have the A-Team band who was here last week. Just really proud of those boys who are doing their thing in music. Just a big shout out to Taylor Epps from WKBW Channel 7. She's doing her thing as well, so we appreciate her for helping Empower716. Then I have my man Makai Gibbs, 17-year-old entrepreneur, as well as doing his thing. And then Nick and Tawana Johnson, they opened up their shop at the Niagara Falls outlet, selling candles. Huh?
It's my father-in-law.
Really? Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. It's small world.
That's dope. 6 degrees of separation.
So they're doing their thing as well.
That makes sense.
Devontae Davis is killing the real estate game. So he stopped by and told us about what we need to do in real estate. And then the motivation moment herself, Raquel Hall, she was in the building as well. And then who's our producer in the back, Charles Everhart, who's helping us out every week and making sure we got the sound and video going. So it's Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa. So we are at day number 2 of Kwanzaa, and I told Shuki because she's more intellect. She's got it together. So what is day 2? So what's day 2?
And today is actually Kujijakalia, termination. So you got to define yourself for yourself, and you do that abroad in your family, with your family, and in your community. So this is a perfect day to be on this show because we're talking about entrepreneurship, empowering each other to grow beyond what we understood, our limits were. So that's a great thing.
Look at you getting all deep over there.
Oh, give it a little zhuzh.
She took us to church. So I had this. I was thinking about this today. These 2 words. Actually, last night I was thinking about these 2 words. And I was watching, I think it was some YouTube video, but they were talking about having the right gift in the wrong environment. And that's what I kind of capture when somebody asked me, like, how did I get into doing my own business? And I thought about the time, like, I left a nonprofit organization because DJ said, do you still work for such and such? And I said, no, I left. I went full time as an entrepreneur 3 years ago.
Right.
And it was like, it's the best decision I ever made. But I realized what those 2 words stuck out to me last night was having the right gift, but being in the wrong environment.
That'll preach.
And it just it stuck to me because some of us, we have this gift, we have all this potential in us, but we don't have the right environment to pull it out of us or even just push it, the connection and people who to pour into us. And when I found myself 3 years ago, I was at the high peak of my career and I was still unhappy. And
that was when you were still wearing shiny suits.
Yeah, I was wearing the suits. But one of the things I found, and I told somebody this last week, is I was fighting for my peace and creativity. That's what I love. I know everybody makes entrepreneur looks really good. It's not glamorous.
Nah, because sometimes it's ghetto.
Yes. Stressful. But I love the process that you have. Like the creativity is the best place to be. Like the peace and creativity. Like I'll fight you over my peace and creativity.
Absolutely.
And I realize like being in a job, and this is like an entrepreneur is not for everybody. So I don't push that agenda. But when I found myself not being able to tap into my creativity and feel like I was like I was working a job where it would not allow me to be creative. And a lot of it was dealing with other people's insecurities, having bosses that was insecure about your gift, money, not getting paid what you deserve, because, you know, pouring in 80 plus hours and then, you know, you're not, the pay ain't there. So then knowing your worth and what you bring to the table. And so having the ability to say, you know what, with this journey that I need, God has provided me a gift, but I need to make sure that it's in the right environment.
Correct.
So that one is that I have wise counsel, I have people who can give me feedback, but also have people who can help me grow and give me the right connections and the resources. And I don't need nobody to give me a handout. I'll work for it.
Right.
But show me something.
Correct.
So what's your thoughts on that? Anybody have any thoughts about having the right gift in the wrong environment? Because that kind of stuck out to me.
I mean, I definitely got thoughts, but I'd like to hear from the gentleman before I speak.
You got any thoughts, DJ? I know you're not quiet, DJ, because you got a lot to say too.
Not really.
Not really.
Well, I got something to say. Like,
Okay.
I'm gonna piggyback off him.
Okay.
Yeah, like
cool.
what he said. Like having the right gift in the wrong environment. Like a lot of times, like as you're trying to elevate in your life, other people bringing you down because they don't see the vision that you have.
Yeah.
And like when people now in the same level as you, and you gotta constantly bring yourself down to their level, it sucks you down, and it sucks you dry to the point you don't know who you are no more. You lose that peace and you lose that creativity. And as you go on in life and as you higher your vibration, you gotta surround yourself around people who are on track with you, because if they're on track with you, they'll just get left.
I like it, man. Deep. That's deep.
Yeah, that's true.
We wrapped that up. So what's your thoughts?
Now that you said that,
Right.
having your own business, a lot of people look at you different. So it's like, oh, he think he better than everybody. She thinks she better than everybody.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're all the same people.
Yes.
It's so many things out there, ideas that you can create that you just have to go do.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, example, I just was like, okay, let me just start a clothing line.
Mm.
And I did it. I really didn't embrace it until this year, maybe last year. Now it's almost to the top. Me saying.
Now, don't you feel like when you started your clothing brand, like there's so much you can do, like the growth, like there's no limit to where you can go with it. Like if you want to go in this direction, like, oh, if I want to do this, I can do it. Or if I want to try this way.
Right. It's so many things that you can do with making clothes. For example, a lot of money.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, you have to put your mind to what you want to do. It's your brand. You have to protect your brand, basically.
That's big.
Love it. Shuki?
So when you talk about having the right gift, having the right gift but being in the wrong environment, I think about a couple things. I think about how you can be extremely talented in a lot of different areas, but without being planted in the right soil, not one of those gifts will show fruit, bear fruit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a registered nurse. A lot of people don't know that because I don't actually practice anymore.
Yeah.
But I remember not being able to showcase creativity working in corporate. I also remember being told that I was an advocate, so to speak, long before I actually was advocating. So I think that it's important to identify that when you keep hitting that wall as an entrepreneur, a hustler, or whatever it is that you're trying to do, that you just haven't figured it out to evaluate your environment. And when you evaluate your environment, you might find that you might need to transplant yourself. Stop. You might need to transplant yourself, whether it be from relationships, friendships, Unfortunately, sometimes even family,
Yeah.
because sometimes we look lateral, you know what I mean, to where support should come from. And it's not, it's I don't know, it's like 7 billion people in the world,
Yeah.
right? You could sell one thing, one item 7 billion times for $1 and be a billionaire.
Wow.
So, you know, if you break down those kinds of ideologies about your product and your service, and think about it that way, you get a little more success out of it and less fatigue from
good way to look at it.
entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? Because that's what I meant when I said ghetto. Because you know, I affectionately call it ghetto because we love the grind, we love the hustle, we love the creativity. Stop. But at the same time, we're artists, so we're a little sensitive about our stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So when somebody, you know, you say, look at my shirt, look what I made. You know what I mean? I made this. And then somebody is like, I could have had a V8. You're like, what you mean? You know what I mean? So I think it's very, very, very important to identify early on that everyone has a gift.
Right.
And like being pregnant, you have to protect that gift by any means necessary.
Yes.
Knowing your value is really important. So before let me jump into the recognizing our entrepreneur of the month. So just for those who are watching the show for the first time, every month we recognize a young person 21 or under who is demonstrating any process, whether they're in the beginning process or in the middle of starting their business. And so this month, we have the honor of recognizing Avion Harris, who is here again with us. So tell us a little bit about you, Avion.
Well, I'm Avion Harris, first of all. I am a 20-year-old. I'm a 20-year-old young black male come from the ghetto.
The ghetto?
Yeah, honestly, come from the ghetto. And
Don't we all, though?
and I'm just honestly just trying to elevate my life to the point where I want to be exactly where I want to be instead of other people telling me where I should be. And that's the ghetto. What I should be is I want to be something that's bigger than I can imagine, so I can have other people come with me.
So you just don't want to do this for yourself.
No.
You want to bring other people along. See, I love that. I
want to elevate, and I learn when you come to the top, you can't bring everybody with you. But when you see somebody at the top, they want to be just like you. So why not be an example for the people that's in your neighborhood?
Wow, I love that. Look at that. So you are from? Are you from Niagara Falls?
Yes.
Born and raised?
Yes.
Okay. Shout out
2940.
Shout out to Niagara Falls. That is my
Yes.
my hometown, Niagara Falls. And so great things come from Niagara Falls. We got a lot of basketball. Even though like I'm not I used to love the Knicks.
Wait a minute.
Patrick Ewing.
I thought we were gonna be cool on this show.
I know. I'm still like a low key Knicks fan because
Okay.
like you can't say that loud no more because like
Yeah,
I went to
struggling here.
I think before COVID I couldn't afford to go to the Knicks game at the square at the Garden, so I had to go to Cleveland. That was the closest to watch the Knicks, and it was really bad. I mean, I got $50. I think I actually paid like maybe about $150 for floor seats at the time just to see the Knicks, and it was just like ooh. It was like a bunch of amateur at the time, but
What in the
Young
world?
talent, they coming up.
I mean, like, wait a minute.
But needless to say, Niagara Falls has got a lot of basketball history. So I went to LaSalle Senior High School. Shout out to LaSalle Senior High School, which is actually the factory outlet mall. Our high school doesn't exist, but we had some good basketball players. So I'm gonna think of Jody Crimes, Carlos Bradbury, Tim Wynn. Who else am I forgetting? Roddy Gale, Patrick Gale, Coach Monty, or Conti. Who else am I forgetting? I'm forgetting a few other, but we had a lot of
Johnny Flynn.
basketball players come from Niagara Falls. So shout out to Niagara Falls, New York. So Avion, tell me a little bit about your business. What's your what's the business?
My business is bringing love, bringing more love and more opportunity to the community.
Okay.
I seen like there was a lack of, like as an entrepreneur, you're a problem solver.
Absolutely.
And I seen that I seen as a young man, what can I do to separate myself, to put myself ahead instead of doing that, working for someone else.
Okay.
And it started off with my business as my grandma had a big lot, a big lot, and I used to get paid $10. $10 to do this lot, and I was so passionate about it. And after a while, I got to 2020 when the summer of the year COVID started. I got into that, and I literally just one day just said, forget it. I'm gonna just start off walking, roam around, asking people, can I cut your grass? And after a while, it just flew up from there.
Wow. So you went from just doing something for your grandmother,
Yes,
to wanting to make your own money.
Yeah.
So what kind of like pushed you not to just say, just isn't it easier just to get a job?
that's me. I can't lie. Job is probably my rival.
Now explain that.
As a young man, I see my worth. I see my worth, and I value my time. And I learned if I spend more time at a place where other people that's not even there making more money than me is not adding up and is not making sense. And
I like him.
I learned like she said, if you can sell $1 product 7 million times, you'll be a billionaire. And I looked at it as, if I can break it down, if I just make, for example, I always do this. I broke it down to me like this: is if you make $267 a day for a whole year, you could make $100,000. And I literally, after that, I started structuring my mind, planning it out, and I literally got to it and started grinding.
Wow.
Got the pen to the paper and got the mower to the grass and started.
See, that's why I'm encouraged by young entrepreneurs, because I'm 45 years old and I'm just getting it.
Right.
And I wish somebody would have told me, create, because you're kind of like the message in a lot of our heads are just go out and get a job. And there's nothing wrong getting a job. But having the mindset of there's something more, there's other options.
Yes.
That is important. So to hear you kind of say you knew there's a problem, I can solve this. You got the tools. So what was your strategy on kind of knowing that, okay, these are the tools I need and all this other stuff? How was that?
I actually kind of, in life, sometimes we think of shortcuts always bad.
Yeah.
But sometimes shortcuts can literally help you. And I had a shortcut I had a 1996 Saturn. And I learned that if everybody got trailers. So everybody breaking the game with trailer. I came from a 1996 Saturn, putting it in the lawnmower in the back of my seat and my tools and just going from there. I literally, everyone kept telling me, do this and do that. But I learned I can save money I can still make money while still having what I have instead of reaching
driving that Saturn.
Yeah, literally, instead of having to pay extra car insurance, getting a bigger truck that I can't, other expenses that I can't afford. So why not use the resource that I have and make the best of them?
So you have no problem. You had no problem driving a 1996 Saturn.
Oh no! To this day, I have my car right now. I upgraded to 1997.
I love it.
I ain't afraid to even think about it.
Because the reason why I said that is because there are some young people who I gotta have the big cars, I gotta have the flashiness, and I wish again I had that, because a lot of times when we get something, especially if you got your own business, you're I want to let people know I got a business.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't want the 1997 Saturn. I want to get something nice and flashy.
And the crazy thing about it, I started off, everybody used to just laugh at me, and one day I got mad. I couldn't afford the logo with the car, because they got the numbers and the lamp. So I got outside, I got on my knees, I got a black Sharpie and wrote my services all over my car, and people was like, "What's wrong with you?" But I was like, "This is me. I ain't afraid. I'm not scared to really care about what people think of me, because
That's you, though.
you go do what you gotta do, and I'm gonna go my way no matter what." So
I love it. So give me because a lot of people, and I won't call you're from the ghetto. I would say you come from a community that may be underserved, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of options, and many people feel like one is the option of many people feel like I either sell drugs, go to jail, other options that we all run into. What made you different? Like, what made you say, you know what, I want to do something different?
The thing about it was, it reminds me, because my grandma, that was my best friend growing up, and she was like one person who changed me, because I was on that route when I was a kid, because that was what my family and the people in my neighborhood was doing. Like, that was the people that I looked up to. But once I got into my grandma told me that I was different, and at the age of 10, you looking like, oh, I'm just a regular kid. But then after a while, you just seeing like you resent it. You walk away. Everyone wants to hang up on the block, and you go to the basketball court and shoot all day, or you want to cut grass, or you want to just help the neighbors out. It just be different.
Yeah, I like that.
Just be different.
So you are somewhat of a good basketball player, right?
Yes.
No, catch that joke. I said somewhat. No, I'm just joking with you. So you are. So tell me a little about your basketball career. So.
Oh man, I've been doing this thing for 13 years now. I started out in a little hoop. I first started out as a dancer. Then, as I got from dancing, I literally got into basketball, playing for my first ever coach was my auntie.
Wow.
Wanda, and I literally played for her from I was 7 years old all the way until like 7th grade. And she literally, all types of people. I played for Carlos Bradbury, I played for Roddy Gale, I played for all those people, and they literally, everyone, just all these teams literally just helped me build up to become the person that I am, honestly, and just grinding, just literally never was a kid growing up with trainers, never really had someone on my back. It was just really just a self thing, really growing up.
I love it. So you had a lot of people who poured into you.
Yeah.
That's great. So what, kind of explain one more time the services that you provide in your business.
Oh, wow. Like the services I provide lawn care first, which is like actual mowing, edging. I actually got into planting flowers now.
Okay.
Weed whacking, pulling weeds, actually doing dirt removal, all types of things. Just all different types of services. Anything that anyone needs, cleaning, they need cleaning. They need someone to help move garbage. I do everything.
Do it all.
You doing snow removal?
Yeah. But it hasn't been really snowing, so.
So you had no interest before doing your grandmother's lawn? Did you have no interest in this at all?
No.
I give you credit because I have no interest in it. So I thought I could do it. So I tried one summer when I first moved over here, and I did it, and it was just like, this is just not for me.
Yeah.
I have no time or patience, so I end up contracting with somebody. I can't. What about you, Shuki? Do you pay somebody to do your lawn service or your husband?
Nah, that's why I'm married. Yeah, and soon, we'll teach him how to use a lawnmower. I also have a 24-year-old, so I can't see myself. Okay, but in all honesty, I will plant a flower.
You know how to plant a flower?
I do know how to plant a flower, only because I like perennials.
Okay.
Because they come up every year. You don't really have, they're hardy. You don't really have to do anything. Annuals are pretty, but the perennials, that's where they at, hostas.
Gosh. What about you, DJ? What do you know?
I was 12 years old. My grandmother said, "Come over, cut my grass, boy." I'm like, okay. Y'all know the lawnmower with the bag, the grass goes inside the bag?
Yeah.
I took the bag off, trying to clean it out, stuck my hand in there with the lawnmower going, I'm going to chop my finger off. I ain't touched the lawnmower since.
Yikes.
See, that'll do it. That'll do it.
One time.
So I blame it on my allergies because I have bad allergies during the summertime. And if I stay near grass for a long period of time, my eyes are itching.
allergies,
So I can't mess with anything. So more power to you. So how what advice would you give to other young people who have a desire to start their own business, especially from Niagara Falls, but overall Western New York? What advice would you give them?
Start now.
Start now.
Because a lot of people just wait until that time come, but you make that moment. You make that moment. You are the drive. You are the energy. You are the passion, and you got to put all those things in. It's like a formula. You got to put all those things to make that one thing work. And I feel like just starting now, whatever you want to do, start now, because as you become more consistent and as time go on, you're going to run into the right people. You're going to learn. You're going to grow. And sometimes people don't look at it, but you need experience. Sometimes you're going to need to get knocked down, get black eyes. You might have to get almost your fingers chopped off, but you got to keep going, bro.
Right.
You got to learn. You got to learn. You learn, and you got to just keep on going. So
I love
start
it.
now.
Start now. I love it. So where can people reach out to you if they wanted to get you for services? Now, do you just do strictly Niagara Falls area?
Oh no, I do all over Western New York. And if anyone need me over the country, if somebody need me to do it,
Oh, you traveling? Okay.
I'm willing to travel. Like I'm hungry. Like I'm really ready to expand this thing globally. Like I really want to have this do something bigger than like myself. Honestly,
I love it. You know the reason why I say that, because when you say words like that, there's some people, like I realize my journey, when you say like I want to be global and you're around people who are just local, they feel some type of way like, I don't think you should say global. I don't think, that's too big.
mm-hmm.
And so you got to be around people who want to see you beyond where you are. And
Yes.
I love what you're speaking into existence. Like I have a desire to be global. I don't want just my business to be here. I want it to grow. So I love that. So we had a great time talking with you, Avion. So I do want to, on behalf of Empower716, now behind the scenes, I have a couple of friends and that I've grown to love. And so when I started this season, I said, okay, I needed some people to chip in and some
Yes.
funds. And so each month we were able to give a small check to entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs of the month. And really, it's a small thing, but it's a really a token of our appreciation for someone like you who is going, basically, I would say going against the odds, because
Yes.
again, a lot of the circumstances, and I won't just say Niagara Falls, Western New York, statistically in the communities that many black and brown live in, it's kind of overwhelming sometimes. And the fact that you have made up in your mind that you will not be limited by your environment.
Yes.
And that, in your basketball, you're going to school, and then you're also managing and leading a business, which is great. And so I just see nothing but great blessings from you. And I can't wait to see you continue to grow in your purpose. And so we do want to present this check to you. So again, it's a small thing.
Oh, wow.
So we're gonna give you this $500.
Thank you.
Do whatever you want to do
Let
with
me
it.
hold something.
Don't get you that 2000 Saturn.
Let me hold something. Let me hold something.
So definitely appreciate all the great things that you're doing, man, and just keep us in touch on everything. All right.
Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
All right, so we're going to cut to a quick commercial, and if you are interested in recommending, or if you are someone under the age of 21 that is doing business, you want to be considered for our Young Entrepreneurs of the Month, just stay tuned for this video. It's going to show you how to do that.
New York, did you know that Empower716 Talk Show is looking to promote and recognize young entrepreneurs in Western New York? You could recommend yourself or someone else to be acknowledged on a future episode. Nominees need to be age 21 or under, has a service or product that offers value, has taken steps to become an entrepreneur, and must be willing to come on the show and talk about their service or product if selected. Email us at empower716@gmail.com.
We are on the spot here at the Niagara Falls Factory Outlet Mall. Tell us why we're here on this day at the Outlet Mall.
Today is the grand opening of It All Makes Sense Candles. This is our first day here at the Niagara Falls Outlet Mall. So we are here celebrating our grand opening.
Tell me, as entrepreneurs, both in the business, like that's tough. As a single entrepreneur, that's tough.
Yeah.
So kind of walk through, how did this come to be?
Well, it all started with a thought. I was just in the house, just looking at a candle that my wife had went out and purchased. I just looked at the candle and I said, I wonder how they make candles. So I started Googling and researching, and my wife came in the house, and I said, I think I want to make some candles. And she looked at me like, okay, sure, buddy. And but she didn't hear me say I want to make some candles. She heard me say,
I want to sell some candles.
Want to sell some candles, okay. So you was making, she was selling.
Right.
yeah, pretty
That's
much.
exactly how it goes.
So what happened after that?
After that, I just kept studying and researching, man, and I've been like that my entire life. I've always been intrigued with things like that, mechanically inclined, little things like that I like to do. So I started researching, and my wife, she saw how serious I was.
Wow.
And I would be up there at 2, 3 o'clock, and then she'd come out and say, "Are you coming to bed?" And I'd be like, "Oh yeah," as soon as I'm done reading this. And she was like, So, she started researching with me.
So
we started
got tag team and just trying to do the work.
Yeah, so we just collabed, and we would bring our ideas together, She would be in the room, I would be on the couch, just reading and studying, and she would come out the room, or I would go in the room, and we would share ideas and say, check this out, look at this, and we kept trying, and we made a lot of mistakes, trial and error.
Yep.
Did a lot of testing, lost a lot of money, messed up a lot of money. Well, I can't say we messed it up. We invested a lot of money, in trial and error. Yeah, man, it was great. So one day, my wife, I'm sitting on the couch, and she comes flying out the room, and I'm studying and I'm researching, and she comes flying out the room, and she says, "Babe." So I said, "What?" She says, "It all makes sense." I said, "What?"
Wow.
She said, "That's the business name. It all makes sense." And she was dead asleep. She woke up out of her sleep and came flying out the room.
Got that vision.
Yep.
I love it, because when I seen the name, I was like, wow, that is so dope. I mean, it sticks with you. Like, it all makes sense. I love it. It's just really creative. So God works really good. How does one get from vending and doing it out your home to say, we're going to open up shop? Like, what was because that's a faith. It takes a lot of faith to make that step. So share that a little bit.
Well, I think for me, and I speak for my wife as well as one, it all starts with faith.
Yeah.
God gave me the vision. Gave my wife the name. So, the seed was planted.
Yeah.
God gave it the increase. And because, we nurture and we cater to this, we put our all into this, as if, or not as if, like this is God's business.
Wow.
We tend to his business, and he just keeps giving us the increase. So basically, I would say, chase your dream, but water it with faith.
Wow.
Water it with faith, and God will increase it. He'll give it the increase, but you have to be consistent. You have to be persistent, and you have to put God right at the center of it.
I love that. I love the foundation. The foundation is there. And I know just by looking at both of you and seeing what God is doing, not only in your personal life, but in your business life, that speaks volumes. And so I know only good things is going to prosper from this. So where can people find It All Makes Sense?
We are in the Fashion Outlet Mall, right across from Nike, and we are also online at www.itallmakessensecandles.com. We will deliver if you are in the Buffalo area and the Niagara Falls area, or you can always come by and pick it up. So our candles are 100% soy. They are organic. They are the vegan of candles. They smell amazing. We don't use anything toxic. So we have different size candles and over 30 cents. And we also have wax melts and t-shirts.
And t-shirts, wow.
These t-shirts.
Love it, love it. All right, welcome back to Empower716. So we're going to jump into our topic What is your highlights of 2021? So we're going to just take a quick review of the things that happened in 2021, whether it's national, local, or personal. And so everybody in the room is going to just chime in on their thoughts. And so I came up with this list of things, and just more of a conversation starter, or just pop them out, and just feel free to jump into them. And so I got first on my list for 2021, I had Amanda Gorman. She started off at Joe Biden's inauguration with the poem. She was just phenomenal. Then I had Ahmaud Arbery. That's obviously was a big case. Then I had Kim Potter case being found guilty, which is a good thing.
I'm still stuck at the fact that she smiled.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah.
Do you think that was intentional?
I don't know.
It had to be intentional.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, lady, it was already ugly. You mistake the, a yellow taser for a black gun. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, after it's all said and done, you got convicted. Cool. And then when it's time to take your mugshot picture, it wasn't even a smirk. It was like a.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I ain't a proponent for violence, but.
Yeah, that's definitely intentional. Then we're still dealing with COVID in 2021.
Which that is just trash. 1 star, do not recommend.
Yeah.
1 star.
Did you think like there was going to be a turnaround? Like I actually thought we would be done with masks, and it's just like.
You know what? I didn't. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the way leadership, and when I talk about leadership, I'm talking about how we started COVID with the Trump administration. And then even when in New York, I thought we did an amazing job early on with containing the pandemic. And then once we started getting vaccinated, they were like, oh, don't wear your mask anymore.
Yeah.
And it was just way, way too soon. And like, you could get buy-in from anything or anyone, but as soon as you let the people off the porch, getting them back in the house, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
It's a done deal. And they did that without having the right amount. Like, we needed to be at 75% vaccinated to make that decision. They did that at like 25%. No, you're not going to get adults to comply. You're just not. That's why we have multiple variants and strains, because, one of these things is not like the other, and everybody's a doctor, scientist, and
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? And you only want to listen to science when you're in the emergency room or an event, and, you believe in God only when your life is on the line, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I didn't. I actually expected this. I predicted it just as such, and it's here now. It is what it is.
Yeah. Anybody else want to talk about COVID at all?
I think with the COVID, more so they're not. It's like they're not giving a solution. Like I feel like me, a type of person that I am, I look more into like herbs and natural remedies, and they should look more into like they should be preferring people to get like go exercise or go outside, get some vitamin D, natural vitamin D, get some fruits and vegetables or something. But they're telling people to get things, and then like once you get it, you gotta get more, and it just comes with more and more and more. Like when does it stop?
We're all just figuring it out too. I think that's a big thing.
It's not some's working on some people, it's not working on some people. So like the vaccine, if it's not working for this person's not gonna get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's gonna be obviously it's like our new normal, which is crazy. So next one I have on my list is the mayor's race in Buffalo. It got national attention. Mayor Brown and India Walton
He was
race.
sleeping with his pimper.
Is she from Buffalo?
India, yeah,
Wow.
for sure. Yeah, he got caught slipping. You know what I mean? I think India is a solid candidate. I don't think she deserved to be treated, the way she was during that campaign. But unfortunately, in politics, and I mean anybody who's done anything with politics remotely. You know, you can't get in a pig pen without getting dirty.
Yeah.
But she definitely got slung. And I hope that he learned that, you know, you gotta show up to work every day, period. Without regard to who the candidate could be, should be, maybe you don't think much of, or whatever the case may be. But you represent not just some of the people, all of the people, and you got to show up.
One of the things I learned about this, and I really haven't talked about the race because I don't live in Buffalo, so I feel like it wasn't right for me to kind of give my suggestion or whatever the case may be, because I don't have power in the vote in that particular race. And it was vicious. I think the only thing because I agree with you, politics can get a little messy, but I think the part was a little disturbing is, and I guess it's not, and I think people look at it as just African American community was divided. But I do think, like, when you look at national races, like even with the Biden and the Trump race, it got a little vicious. And I think we got a little vicious. And I think, like, I can disagree with somebody, whether you agree with Mayor Brown or you went with India, you can still have a conversation with somebody and not go to, like, toe with them. Yeah. And I just feel like, is it ever that serious? Because regardless of who was in the seat.
I don't know. I think what happens is, we tell children all the time, don't hit, right? You know what I mean? Or if you get hit, tell the teacher or whatever the case may be. But when adults run out of words, man. I mean, when adults run out of words, they bug out. Like, they don't go to the, Merriam-Webster and figure out more words. Nah, they come out swinging and talking about your mama and your kids and, so forth and so on. And I just, ultimately, one person was going to win, right? We knew that. How they won, I thought, was important. And I personally would have liked to see, no matter who won, that someone had reached across the aisle to say, okay, we didn't agree on everything, but some of the things that you said during your campaign were valid. How can I utilize that? Because make no mistake, she got like 30-40% of the vote. That means that the people supported her or thought something about her that she could contribute. You should be, in my opinion, figuring out how you can adopt that so that it can be a more inclusive city of Buffalo, whether you live in the city or not.
Good point. So I have my list on Dave Chappelle. Anybody ever watch a special of Dave Chappelle? You never watched it?
You didn't watch the recent one? What?
Wow.
What?
It's on Netflix, right?
It is.
You say you watched it, Avion?
Like a little bit.
A little bit of it? Okay.
What? I think he got a bad rap, too.
Yeah.
So explain that.
I did hear that.
Yeah, he got a bad rap. Okay, so basically what he was saying was, like, it's easier or safer to be, a part of the LGBTQ community and get protected than it is to be a black man. And so the LGBT community basically was like, how dare you? And, you can't talk about us because you don't know anything about us. And, you haven't sat next to us and all of this other kind of stuff. And, certainly your perspective is valid. It's your perspective. Stop. But the fact remains, being a black man and or woman, because neither of us are exempt, we don't have those safeguards. We don't have those protections. We can list name after name after name after name. If you haven't already seen 137 Shots on Netflix.
I seen that last night.
Is that a new series?
It's a show about a documentary about 100, and not to segue, but it's important because it goes with this. 137 Shots was a documentary made out of Cleveland. 137 shots by 13 officers in the city of Cleveland rang out into a vehicle for two people, a man and a woman, and an officer climbed on top of the vehicle, point blank range, and shot.
Are you serious?
Multiple times.
Wow.
Okay, this happened, I think I want to say 2013, 12. And then who's the little boy who was playing in the park that died? Tamir Rice. He died immediately following that, right? The police showed up and shot and killed him after announcing that they were there with the window up, and no one was charged. So then fast forward to now, when all of these things have happened, I Can't Breathe, Tamir Rice, Dante, all of these things have happened, and then you want to condemn Dave for saying, as a black man, no matter what my political status, no matter what my social economic status is, I still don't have rights. He's absolutely right to say that. And I'm so godly proud of him for not backing down, because he could.
Yeah.
Even in the face of cancelization, you know what I mean? Because we're in a heavy...
You can be canceled for anything.
Oh, man, you sneeze, you canceled. you know what I mean? And so, 137 shots. If you check it out. Like,
I wrote it down.
It started from, he had an old car.
It backfired.
It backfired, like popped like a gunshot. Riding past the police, they followed him. Like how many cop cars? Like
they followed him from 4 different towns, from the city of Cleveland, Berea. Like I used to live in Cleveland, so Berea, all the way out. I want to say to Warrensville Heights and back.
Wow.
Okay.
Like
and the police lieutenant contacted multiple other police stations to get involved. Some stop it. Some other officers decided to drop out of the pursuit because they were like, this is pointless. The car is backfiring. This is not shots ringing out. And it all started even before the first backfire. You caught the part where the one police officer was just harassing the homeless people. He pulled them over.
Black cop.
Scared them, and they sped off thinking that he was chasing them. He didn't chase them. The car backfired. One cop was in front of a precinct and was like, oh, shots fired. No other shot fired, and then the pursuit engaged. Now, the cop who stood on the hood of the car eventually was fired, right? But all of the other 12 officers were rehired 6 years later.
Wow.
So, he's right to say you get more political protections or any kind of protection as an LGBTQ member than as a black man. And listen, I don't think that you should be mistreated because of your sexual orientation, preference, or however we're supposed to say it. You know what I mean? I believe you be kind no matter what. However, you kind of got to give credence to they shot 2 people unarmed in a vehicle 137 times.
Wow.
And no cancellation.
The white cop said they was scared for their life.
Repeatedly. Every cop who came in for their interview said they was scared for their life.
They never have been so scared in their life.
Wow.
Mind you, a gun was never shown out the window. Never had a gun or anything.
And they likened the event to being in Kuwait or in battle. Yeah,
wow.
It was heavy. It was heavy to watch. It made you angry. I'm a mom of 2 black sons, one of which who has autism. Like the little boy who had autism, who was playing the violin, who couldn't communicate his basic need to say, hey, he just kept saying over and over, I just need my mom, I just need my mom. You know, it's scary.
Yeah, it is.
It's scary. And what do you do? What do you do? Like, you feel empowered? You don't feel empowered. You don't feel like you have the right to say, because if you do say, what happens? You know what I mean? And then, we're expected to keep turning the other cheek. 2022 is coming. I'm not matching energy, but don't give me nothing you don't want.
Because both cheeks gonna get bruised too much, and you gotta start protecting.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely got to check that out. So I added a couple of shows in here because a lot of people watched them in 2021. Power, Book 2.
My favorite.
I don't watch a lot of TV, but I really love that show.
I don't turn on.
You got the wrong show.
I don't turn on the TV.
Really?
Yes.
I would have never thought that.
I love Power.
Me too.
You the ghost.
So I finally. Actually, so I don't, like I said, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I love watching that. Like, I can binge watch that show. The only thing, because I finally watched the 2nd season, finally finished it. Did you watch it, DJ?
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I didn't get, I think it was one episode, whether the Monet, whether Zeke, is it?
Yeah, Zeke.
Was was Monet saying that was Zeke her son?
Her and Mecca's son.
Yeah. Is that true? I mean, because I was trying to figure out what they meant. She's like, that's my son. When he said that, so I was like, wait a minute. So is Zeke her son? That's the only part I didn't get.
That's what I'm still trying to figure out. So
Okay.
January 9th.
Oh, so they basically kind of left that out there.
Yeah.
I thought I missed something because I'm
Plot
like,
twist is
Yeah.
a good plot twist.
Yeah, Empower.
Yeah.
And now I gotta go back and watch it because I was kind of
Yeah, it's a good plot twist.
I was kind
I feel like
of.
the seasons end so quick, especially when you like a show. You like, dang, just leaving him in the jail cell. I was like,
they
that was
do.
kind of.
Did you notice that when Tariq went to jail, that song was playing in the background? That's the same song was playing when Ghost went to jail. The same suit Tariq had on.
I love how they're playing that kind of the
It's like
same
a
role. Yeah,
father like son type of thing.
yeah.
I like that note at the end. What Ghost gave him.
Oh yeah,
He
the
said,
note.
"Knew
What
you."
was the note again? What did it say again? That was funny.
Right where you belong.
I noticed that what happened.
I think a lot of people think it's a lot. It's more to the note.
Mm-hmm.
So January 9th, we're gonna see what's going on.
I think
Wow.
he knew he was going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew it.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all think about what's the teacher and the student thing? What's the lady name? What's the teacher?
Professor Milgram.
Yeah, I already felt something way about the girl. I'm sorry, I don't know the names, but
Lauren.
the girl who had to watch, who was
Lauren.
wiretapping, it really make you think about certain people. You just feel like, oh, people, like do that nowadays.
Yeah.
Wait, Tariq's smart. He asked her like, "Oh, you got a new Rolex?" So I think he knew.
You think he knew?
Yeah, he tapped in. He tapped in.
That's why he get up and leave right.
Mm-hmm.
He out of there.
He out of there.
Yes.
It seemed like it would be hard, I guess. What's the guy name that was the other drug, the Monet's guy? What's the guy? The other guy?
Her son,
No, the guy who came back and was wanting to be with her.
Her husband?
Yeah.
Mecca.
So
Oh,
Mecca.
Mecca.
So where did he come from? Because I think I missed a part. So he was here.
I think they was messing with each other back when they was
Yeah.
16. I think
Okay.
Monet say a scene. She was like, "We're not 16 no more." Remember the episode? He kept pulling up, playing the old school
Yeah.
music. So she was like, "We're not 16 no more." But now that her husband home, I don't know what she.
Meow.
Yeah.
So it seemed like he was basically. Was he doing it? So the only part again that I didn't get was he playing the role of trying to figure out to get back with her by befriending the. I keep losing the names. The one man. What's the young dude name?
Kane?
Kane. Like, was he doing all that just to get back with her? Because obviously he wasn't telling her that he was.
That came to plug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monet don't even know Kane is plug from him. So it's like,
So he kind of playing both of them.
yeah.
Wow. So is this relatable to real life? Because I feel like,
Yes.
and I'm not looking at you, DJ, on purpose, but he looked at me like, like is this how the real world works?
I think so. I mean, like, when I'm only watched, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 episodes of Power because it didn't do it for me. But I honestly think that anytime you caught up, right, because that's really what it's about, you'll see these kinds of themes of people, places, and things, and how do I get out, and, all of that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I definitely think it's relatable. Now, how you interrupt it is about whether or not you're going to break the cycle.
Yeah. I love the fact that they add like Tariq being in college, they add like the ethic class of like
Yes.
all the things that you can do, the dilemmas that somebody has to face, whether, when your back is against the wall or how you treat people, karma, all this other stuff. And so it's kind of like how they play off of that. I love the morality piece that they put in there.
I have a question. How do y'all feel about Rashad Tate coming back into picture?
Hey, he just want to be on top. He gonna do whatever he can to be on top. He don't care what he got to do. He just want to be on. He just want to be the man.
But you meet people like that who just wants that's hungry for any type of power, and they look for the dirt on other people to get ahead. So yeah, that is.
Remember, you ain't see his face when he found out Ghost was dead.
Wait, Ghost is dead for real?
I don't know.
Get you caught up.
Yeah, you gotta get caught up. That's bad, Shuki. I'm caught up on the show.
We gotta get
I
you
watch
all the way
TV.
caught up.
Clearly.
You know Angela dead? No, she.
So you stopped at season 1 probably.
Yeah,
Oh,
I couldn't
you
do
got
it. It was just, you know what I mean? Like,
Everybody dead except for Tommy and Tasha.
that makes sense though. Yeah, they survivors. That makes sense. I can see that.
Then they disappear, so hopefully they come back. So then I have I don't know if anybody watched Curb Enthusiasm. Did anybody watch that? Probably not. So yeah.
Well, back in the day I did, but not recently.
You really have to watch that show. Like a lot of people
It's
that I know.
Dry humor.
Yeah, it's dry humor, but a lot of people I know be like, what's that? And so until I actually make somebody watch it, then they be like, oh, because they have a lot of just like day-to-day stuff. It's kind of like Seinfeld a little bit, but they have is one episode I watched, and is this African-American woman. She's in the grocery store. And so he being a white guy, Jewish, he's about to approach the lady because basically there's a gap in the line.
Okay.
And so there's a gap in the line, like you really need to move up.
Right.
So he's got a black friend, I forgot his name, and he's about to go to her, and he's like, could you just move up? And so she gets an attitude, oh, don't you say this. Right. And so she goes on it like, so the friend said, you can't tell a black woman to move. You got to be black to say that. And so she got a whole attitude because you can't tell me, and and so she felt some type of way. So they have these indirect messages, but a lot of times, like, it's like he was saying the message was like only a Jewish person could say this to a person, but you can't go up to, if you're another race, go up to an African-American woman and tell her, can you move up, please? And she may take it the wrong way and may think it's racial. And so they have those little indirect messages. So you got to get the little dry humor. So I got Insecure. Anybody Insecure?
I didn't watch this season yet, so I got to be quiet. But I heard some stuff, and I'm nervous now.
Is this a girl show?
Oh, wait a minute.
I just see a whole bunch of girls on the page.
Yeah, so they do it. So I actually thought that. So I'm kind of forced to watch this show too.
Yeah, it's not a girl show.
It is kind of, it's a girl perspective. So you got to
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. They did Lawrence well.
I just see a whole bunch of pictures.
It is more. It's more girl. It's more. I would say more female driven. It's topics and so forth. Yes.
It's a lot of. How many seasons?
This is the last season. I want to say this is the 4th season.
What is it about?
I gotta catch up.
It's really about dope black young people. Period.
Yeah.
Doing
Netflix?
No, HBO.
See, HBO Max.
Doing everyday things, doing what you're doing what I'm doing, and just in different spaces, trying to navigate what work-life balance looks like, relationships look like, entrepreneurship looks like, starting in your career, and then all while being hella black. Like, can I say that? Right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And it's kind of, I think if there's a disconnect in the men environment, especially on the East Coast, is because it's set on the West Coast. And so there's a different kind of male bravado out there than, you know what I mean? Because New York, we all swaggy, and not that they don't have their own swag, but I think we don't identify with the metrosexual thing as most prominent as what men look like to us on the East Coast, if that makes sense. Yeah. But I think it was a well-written show. They talk about it. Dante. Okay. They talk about diverse topics. They talk about things that are interest from everything from entrepreneurship to volunteering to sexual health, sexual dysfunction, relationship, you know what I mean? And I think anywhere between the ages of 18 and even, dare I say, 50 is a great demographic, but somewhere in the middle you find your space, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it is to me, I just say it's obviously, is it Issa Rae? Is that her name?
Issa.
Issa, yes, Issa. So it is, to me, I think it's from a female perspective. But like I said, if it was like, I think, even though they obviously have relationships in there and so forth, but it is more. So if they had a flip
but that kind of hurt my feelings.
I mean, I still like it. I mean,
because like there's a married couple, you know what I mean? There was some cheating, and then the guy got cheated on, remember? So that was different. And then they didn't treat her well.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
It's kind of like, you know, is yeah. I mean, you gotta. I won't say it's kind of like a waiting to excel, but it's not that kind of.
It's called Insecure.
Yeah, Insecure. Yeah. So the other thing I had on my list was Young Dolph. So obviously this will remind me of Nipsey too. Same situation. Somebody. So I haven't listened to Young Dolph music until after he passed.
I actually listened to him.
You listened to him before?
Yeah.
Okay. So he goes back to his hometown often, obviously. This was not his first run-in, so I actually read about it afterwards. But so this is like his second time running into, because I think he got shot maybe a few years before that.
He did.
And then going back to Memphis, and I think it was the cookie shop. I forgot the name of the cookie store. But then obviously getting murdered back to his hometown. It's funny that I was watching another interview. I think it was with West Gun. And when he was, I think he was having I think it was a podcast where he was saying, like, going back home, you got to be more protected than anywhere else. And I was like, yeah, I guess that is true. So, anybody thoughts on Young Dolph?
Yeah, like that just shows you like how in our community we can't, like, we gotta break these cycles of, honestly too, killing the people that's providing resources and things, also helping the community. Because the great thing about it is some people just see you, like a lot of the media focuses on just your rap career, but a lot of times behind the door you're doing more things for the community than you get recognized for. And I learned, like, literally like a week before he got murdered, he literally was at Turkey Drive at a hospital giving out free turkeys and free pictures and things like that. And I look at, like, we gotta stop killing the people in the community that's providing things and providing opportunity, and also just stop killing each other, because we're the ones killing ourselves. And understand when somebody kills another person and it causes another family to be hurt and causes a cycle just to keep on coming and it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
That's where the hatred come in.
Yeah.
Now, do you think, like, far as any type of success, now we all see it on different levels, where you could, you know, make $20 an hour more or $5 more than somebody, and somebody feels some type of way?
Absolutely.
Because you're making $3 more than them.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not even about the $3. I honestly think it's the fact that you have the capacity to make the $3. Because why not me? Because I don't think enough of me to think that I can make the $3. It's not the $3, because even if you gave them the $3, like, if you said to your boss, if we're all employees in the room and we're like, you know what, boss, I actually think Rob is a harder worker than me. I don't want the $3 raise. Can you give it to him? Right? And then 6 months down the line, now that Rob is making $3 more than me, but then I've done this project and I get a bonus, he's still mad. He's still mad. Nothing's going to change in that way. It's about, you know what I mean, your light. You know what I mean? You dope in your space the way you are. So people are just jealous or hating on the fact that you're committed to your vision, and they don't have the security within themselves to have that same commitment to the thing that they want.
That's perfect.
It kind of reminds me too, like, I know there's a lot of things said about, like, when you reach a certain point in your life, and I guess obtain some success, and then going back to the community where you grew up from. Is it safe to do that? You know, like, you want to get back to where you grew up on. You obviously want to get back, but do I have to live there? Do I have to know, like, I can't go to the same spaces anymore because of the safety that it's going to cause me?
I mean, I actually am not originally from Brooklyn. I mean, Buffalo. I grew up in Brooklyn, so I feel like Beyonce, she said, I'm good on any MLK Boulevard. That's how I personally feel, because I treat people well everywhere I go. But do I want to live in Marlboro Projects at this point in my journey? No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to keep it a buck. I don't want to live in the projects. I don't think there's anything wrong with not living in the projects. I don't think there's anything wrong with living in the projects. But it's just not I actually would prefer to live in Barbados, if I could be honest. You know what I mean? And, you know, come back, you know, stateside when appropriate, you know. But I think you can go home again, but I think it depends on how you live your life. You know what I mean? People like Nipsey Hussle, Young Dolph, and others who live that kind of lifestyle, you never really get out of it. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't. No
matter what you do.
Yeah,
how much money you got.
Yeah, you never really get out of it. And unfortunately for him and their families, you know, people, even beyond not being able to get out of it, what I've learned is people hold you to this thing that you were to them. They never let you grow beyond being Young Dolph, being Nipsey Hussle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Nipsey Hussle was a businessman. He was an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? He was a huge philanthropist in his community. And the person who murdered him decided that he could never be more than who he used to be by taking his life. And I think that's true for any of those kinds of circumstances when people make the decision to take someone's life. Like, they just made the decision that you can't be a billionaire. You can't be a Jay-Z. You can't be a Nas. You know what I mean? There's very few success stories that we have that we could say you know, flipped this and made that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
None that we could reach out and touch. So I think people make decisions that that aren't theirs to make. And that's the result of that.
Good point. All right, so in October, we had the Facebook shut down. So for the first time...
That was bugged out.
For I think it was like 3 or 4 hours, Facebook went completely along with Instagram. What's anybody's thoughts on that?
I was losing my mind.
I didn't even know it happened at the for the first hour. I thought something was wrong with my phone.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, for the first hour, I legit thought something was wrong with my phone, and I kept rebooting it, and I was like, dang, I need a new phone. You know what I mean? Then I thought it was my internet provider because I was home, you know what I mean? So I unplugged and replugged. And
it's like, I'm not the only one that was losing their mind. Like, Facebook is just like entertainment, so people was bored for those 3 and 4 hours. They didn't know what to do. Instagram, they was bored. I'm getting calls like, yo, Facebook down? Like, yeah. So... I think that's just today's society now, is Facebook. Is we use it for marketing, laughs, jokes, news. I mean, that's just what it is today.
It's just so crazy. Like I think people like, oh, yeah, you know, what can you do without Facebook? But I do think it's ingrained into our culture that it becomes, because I notice like every month, like there's a few weeks.
Commercials on TV.
Yeah. It's really ingrained into like your lifestyle. So I really like when I take a break like this month, and especially after the show, for the month of December, I really don't go on Facebook unless it's related to the show. But other than that, I'll try to stay off. And I realize how much people think you're on Facebook. Like there's people that I know like have family passed away and so forth. Didn't you see my Facebook post? I didn't know. Like I didn't
see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
And so you realize, like, if you don't get to keep up with certain people, if you don't go on their Facebook, like, you don't know what's going on. But those 3 hours was critical. Like, for me, for business-wise, I'm like, oh, shoot, this is.
So now how did you, now that happened, what did you do to make an adjustment so that it's less critical, you know, going forward business-wise?
I don't think I made any changes to it, but I realized, like, how dependent the platform is. So another example, so I lost actually about the end of October, I lost my Instagram account.
Like lost
6,000 followers. All the hard work of years put into Instagram. And to find out that my account was either hacked or whatever, so I get an email from Instagram saying, you know, your account has been disabled, so you have to take all these steps to get it back. And so watching YouTube videos and so forth. So my team, we're going trying to send them the verifications every single day, no response. And they tell you on these YouTube videos that you just got to keep trying. They may be 30 days. Yeah. So to this day, I don't have an Instagram account. And I just like,
That makes sense.
I really don't know whether I want to start one over because it's like all of your content was on that platform, all your communication, your messages, your followers that you invested in like time to build up to that point. And now it's just like gone.
That's how I feel about Facebook. Remember, Facebook started when we were in college. You could only use it for. I still use my college email. But
that's funny.
Being said, start a new Instagram because Instagram can help build your show. Yeah. So I would say start a new one. It's going to take a while, but once you get it out there, the shares, the likes, just follow everybody.
So you just gave me a word because that's probably in 2022. That's why I have to like let it go and just start over because sometimes you just like so mad. I still have a grudge. I think that's what it is because the fact like I got to start over. And it makes me mad because it's like, man, I put all that time into getting there. Now I got to start over. And I see why some people have 2 accounts for that purposes. Yeah.
Your personal page and then your business page.
Yeah, because one of my girlfriends recently, she reached out to me. She was like, okay, just a minute. Reached out to me and was like, hey, you emailed me from a weird, okay, cool. From a, go ahead, get up. Oh, my mic? Yes. Okay. Keep going. She was like, you emailed me from a weird account. And I'm like, no, I have like 4 accounts.
4 accounts.
Bathroom, yeah. I'm like, I got 4 accounts. And she's like, you do? And I'm like, yeah. Like, you kind of gotta, because you never know how or what's gonna happen or so forth and so on. But I'm like, yeah, no, that's me. So anyway.
I just reached over 10K on my Instagram finally.
Wow. You gonna rub it in, DJ?
I'm so amped. If I lose my Instagram, I'm gonna go
that means, okay, so you need to create an account, and then what he's going to do is go live on his account, and he's going to shout us all out so we can all...
Yeah, so we can read the benefits off your 10,000 followers.
That's dope.
Somebody's going to... They're going to follow you back.
Aww.
Everybody's going to...
Remember, I said it first.
The reason why is it makes me cringe because, again, like, so just to put it out to be transparent, so I do have a staff that helps my social media for social media on my business side. And so I don't have, like, I really don't have the patience or time to really get on, Instagram and do all the work that it takes to have somebody follow you, unfollow me, and put the content up consistently. So I just don't have the patience, and I think that's why I just don't drive me patient.
Too. I'm with you. You know why? Because, like, to be honest, when I'm networking or, doing the thing that I'm doing on social media and people are like, oh, yeah, this is great content, especially in the space of autism and that, if I'm engaging in that way, then I'm not creating, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the balance is just so weird to find the time to do both. Even when I'm batch creating, it gets overwhelming, you know what I mean? So I'm either engaging with you or I'm not. And for me, I still struggle with, like, I'm your age, you know what I mean? So I still struggle with, I don't want to carry my phone. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be a slave to it. So, so it's a battle. But I definitely would love to hire a social media manager and just, here you go. You know what I mean? And schedule it. And that's it.
You want to add anything to social media about social media?
Oh, man, I'm not really. I'm like you. I literally check on for my business, and to the point, I don't even have it on my phone. I have it on my iPad because I know I'm not gonna be on my iPad as much. So that's what I use. I don't.
So you have discipline. See, that's crazy.
I've learned too. But social media is kind of what you make it too. If you fill it up with business and food and like whatever you're in their niches, like that's a good thing. But also if you get negativity and just gossip and that's what you get caught up in.
I love him bad.
Yeah.
I love him.
That's true. All right, so let's talk about the kitchen set. That I'm really surprised that kind of blew up.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, I'm just really surprised at how, like, obviously, like, the guy who posted it went viral and so forth, but it just became a conversation topic across
and people
the
are
country.
like legit still angry.
Yeah.
I don't
Does anybody want to give a background story about the kitchen set? Because I don't know how it actually came about.
I want to say the dude. He lived somewhere. I guess he posted a picture of a kitchen set and said, "My son, I'm not buying my son no kitchen set. That's gay," or something along the lines like that.
Yeah.
And when I seen it, I'm looking to myself like, I cook. My dad is a chef. My uncle is a chef. So like, what's wrong with a kitchen set?
Right.
Like, is it because it's a toy kitchen set, or what if he grows up to actually be a chef?
Yeah.
Is that a problem when your son gets old enough to be a chef? Is that a problem? So I really didn't get it.
Yeah. What's your thoughts?
I was perplexed by it for a couple of reasons. Just sit right there. No, on the steps. Right there. Don't move. Yep. I was perplexed by it because we're in this weird age where dating is weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not dating, but I mean, I see the people, right?
Yeah.
And so single people are talking about, you want wife level type responsibilities, but you don't want to do, you get what I'm saying? So like, so he not supposed to eat? And then okay, if we take that away from there, then how about what do you do with, how is he supposed to make the romantic dinner if he never learned how to make it?
Or what if the lady don't know how to cook?
That part. Or what if the partner is a better cook? What if you just naturally are a better cook than I am? Because that happens. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, in my house, I barbecue better than my husband. No one's beating me on the smoke.
My mom that same way.
You understand what I mean? Like
I know
a
that.
pork
My
rib, a
mom
beef
the same
rib.
way.
What you don't want this smoke, literally.
Is he watching?
He might be. I hope so. But nevertheless, everybody has their roles. But I mean, like, he can tear down an engine, and I can't.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think I think gender roles are weird now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was just surprising to me, like, even like in 2021, that would be something that kind of like separates or get that debate going, because you would think that all of these years that we have, people, male chefs and so forth, and
I
cooks.
mean, chefs been male.
Yeah.
Like, it's new for women to be chefs.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, like, this whole what you can and shouldn't be doing, it's just really, really weird to me. Like,
Especially with kids.
Yeah, like,
a kid can't do this and a kid can't do that is what gets me. Let a kid be a kid.
not only that,
I'm not saying for a kid, I'm sorry to cut you off, for
No.
a kid not to go play with a boy, not to go play with a Barbie doll.
but why can't he play with a Barbie doll? Let me help you out. Let me
Somebody
hear.
had that in the so I did see that in the comment.
Right? So children learn through imagination and play.
Yeah.
Right? And so if his first experience with a doll or a baby is a doll, and so then when you become a husband and you don't know how to hold your daughter because you never had an opportunity to comb hair or change a diaper, like, or talk to a woman when you're playing Ken and Barbie, like, that's an opportunity for me to sit as a parent when I'm listening to you tell her something raw or foul. No, baby, we don't talk to women like that. You have to say please and thank you and show him how to open the door for her. So there's nothing wrong with the play. It's about how you guide the play.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays, like, too many things are attached to the sex. Like, you can't like this color because it's girly. You can't, or a male can't like a girl song because it's feminine. Like, bro, like,
Too girly.
It's so funny. I was listening to what's her name? I think it was Janae.
Janae Echo.
Yeah, so I was listening to her a couple of days ago, and we was obviously just joking. And my friend, he was in the car, and he was like, "You listen to this song? Like, this is a girl song, man. Why you listen to this song? It's like you're in your emotions." And so I'm like, "No, actually, I like this song." And so then he started saying the lyrics. I'm like, "Wait a minute." He's like, how you joking about the song and then the lyrics?
But you know that.
Right.
Sound like you listen to the song more than me.
That part.
So I didn't mean to cut you off, Avion, but so what were you saying? So like songs and
they just put sex into everything, and I feel like she's right. Like, that was a beautiful description. Like, you should have, like, growing up, just be limited based off of sex or a boy or girl. Like, I feel like as a kid, if that kid want to play with a kitchen set, let it play with the kitchen set. Like honestly, like you said, like the imagination in kids. And once you stop that imagination, the kid really just don't really be a kid no more. It's really a prisoner to really what you want the kid to become.
Yeah. So I think that the shift, like I guess you really can't control other people raising their kids.
You can't.
But I think like for at least there's some parents who limit. I think you can do yourself a disservice by limiting the options of your children and how they're supposed to think, and just
Absolutely. I honestly think make up your mind. Pick a struggle.
Yeah.
Like you want this bravado, you want this manly man, or do you want somebody that's going to be sensitive and hear you and so forth and so on. Pick the struggle. Like you can't say he can't do this, he can't do that, he's got to this and that and so forth and so on, and then exclude the opportunities to learn how to do those in the safe space that he should be learning how to do them. So pick a struggle.
Pick a struggle. So one thing I left off my list is I had Andrew Cuomo on there.
Yikes.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
For
I think he got
2021.
shafted.
You do?
I mean, I don't know, she was hugged up with him. Did you see the pictures?
I never seen any pictures.
Oh, man. Like, okay, they said that she said he did some illicit, weird stuff. Okay, cool. Maybe he did, maybe she didn't. That's her truth. I'm not here to judge it.
Right.
But at the same time, like, he wasn't, like, hugged up on her. She was like, hey. So, like, for me, I think this Me Too thing as a woman, like, I want our truth to be heard, but I also need for us to stop playing victim. And, like, you know what I mean? Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Oh, because he not cute enough, now I'm not interested, so now it's Me Too. Like, it's weird. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, rape culture, right? Okay, so we Rob, grew up in rape culture. Like, you didn't get the girl unless you, like, snatched her by the hair kind of thing. You know what I mean? And now it's like, you can't really do that. I get that. But at the same time, women tend to allow those kinds of behaviors. It's not no across the board unless I don't think you're cute or unless I don't think you have enough money. So for me, if no means no, let it always be no. Let it always be no, and then figure out how to court from there. But don't, use your womanly wiles, with men in power to get in the door, and then, like, now that you're in the door, he made me uncomfortable. Huh? You showed him your breast first, sis. Like, what? Like,
yeah, it's such a like a it's a tough line
like,
to cross. I mean, it is because you see it, especially in the workforce, and I've seen a lot of things. People use some of that to their advantage too. Because you see people who use their looks.
Oh yeah, they want to like reach over and subtly touch a hand, and it's like and then want to be offended, right? For the men, I love this part. For the men who are like, whether they're in relationships or not, and like, let's pretend that I reached over to touch a hand to try to get a discount, right? And you're like, hey, nah, I mean, I appreciate, but nah, I'm good. Then I feel some kind of way because you don't want me. What?
Yeah.
He gets to say no, thank you, sis. Like, and then that becomes, he think this, and and now I want to say that I don't like your color sweatsuit.
Yeah.
Come on. you get what I'm saying, though?
It happens.
Yeah, that's corny. That's like, if it's no, it's no. Yeah. And if it's, you know what I mean? And if we're going to play. And then if you don't like the rules, and I'm not talking about, the macro aggressions, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Physical, and so forth and so on. And there are microaggressions, but everything ain't a microaggression. Some of that y'all participated in. Like, sometimes you kind of got to call a spade and be honest about your behavior. Like, and yes, you can wear a short skirt and, short shorts and whatever it is you want because you're a feminist and all of that good stuff. But if you don't want to be known for letting it all hang out, then there's decency and decorum. You could still be sexy and fully dressed.
Yes,
that's true. All right, so that was some of the things I had on my list. Anybody want to add anything to that highlight of 2021 before we kind of go on focus of 2022? I know y'all got some
Well, for me, I mean, my son is like losing it because we've been here for a while. Yes. Autism is just like struggling today. But and I appreciate your patience with that. But for us, the highlight for us for 2021 was that my son used his 13th birthday to spread awareness about autism by hosting a toy drive, which was major and amazing. I was only hoping to give maybe 10 or 20 toys away. We serviced something like 80 families, 140 kids. And so, like, never in my wildest dreams did I think that his humble birthday wish would grow in that way. And so he's been saying for years, if anyone's followed us or know any part of our story, that he sells shirts, you know, he's giving them away and he's the king of awesome and all of this kind of stuff. And then just one day randomly, he's like, oh, yeah, I want to give toys away for my birthday. And I'm like, what, dude? You want to give toys away for your birthday?
I wish I would have known that. I work with kids with autism.
Oh, wow, that's dope. Well, next year I'll look for you for a partnership so that we could do something and collaborate.
I'm always down for working with
sure.
the kids. Rob, no.
Okay.
Kids is my life.
Yeah. Okay. Bet. Listen, I mean that.
I want to help too. I love helping.
Okay, cool. So we have a few sponsors who've already committed for next year.
Nice.
So it has gotten bigger than us. You can find out information and or donate at kingofawesome.com. We do have a couple shirts that we sell. And it's just been an amazing journey. It just grew well beyond what we could imagine. We had Santa come, and then we wind up having an overflow event for children with autism. We had a donor, Fisher Price, reached out to us and gave us a significant lot.
That's nice.
And we were able to give even more away. So it was just like, wow, you know, this small voice, you know, and you started the conversation by saying, you know, having the right dream, but being in the wrong environment. And so, like, I've never, up until the last probably 2 years, I never really considered myself an advocate. You know, I help people, you know, manage children with special needs whenever the need arises, but nothing really formal. This has kind of become more formal as I help him use his voice and navigate what autism can do. And so it's been an amazing journey, and I'm looking forward to 2022.
Wow, that's dope. And then just before we go to DJ, you are also an author. Kind of explain your book as well.
I am an author. So I penned a book, Unexpectedly Awesome, at the top of the pandemic. It is a parental guide for parenting children with on spectrum. But you don't really have to be a parent of children with autism to get anything out of the book. It's really whatever is that awesome thing in your life. Yeah. And so in that book, I teach you how to cope with the stuff that just doesn't feel like you can cope with. I certainly never imagined in a million years that I thought I would be a parent of a kid with special needs, especially because when you're having a baby, you believe you have that quintessential Gerbil baby, you're going to have the next Barack. And then, you know, when one of these things is not like the other, you're like, oh, okay, how do I deal with this? And you kind of quickly got to figure that out. There's no, well, I'm going to sit and wallow in it.
Right.
Because time is of the essence. If you want the baby to grow and thrive to whatever his capacity or her capacity is going to be, you kind of got to snap out of it quickly. And some of the things that I teach people in that book is to grieve it. I don't think we in the Black community specifically talk about grief enough. You know, there are 5 stages of grief that gets you from the initial part of the what happened to acceptance. And then sometimes you right back at the beginning, you know what I mean, trying to bargain for this or that. Like today, right now, he's making all of these stemming noises because he's just over it, right? Yeah. But Rob has experienced my son in a different capacity where we know that he can behave differently. Yeah. And so without having some tools in my tool belt, I'm able to say, okay, this is a moment, and not, oh my God, this is the end of the world. And I think sometimes parents don't give themselves the break and the grace that they deserve. You're doing the best you can.
Well, definitely go get that book. Definitely get it. That's. I love what you're doing. Like I said, with being an advocate and just not only you growing, but you also helping other people. And I love that portion of it. So DJ, way to player. So kind of explain your brand. You said you've been at it for 2 years now?
3 years since
3 years?
2017.
Okay.
It just really, I'm like the chill type, laid back kind of guy, and every time I go places or go out is, oh, you just so laid back, you just two player, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just go to the store and make me a shirt. And ever since then, over the 2020 and 2021 is what I really started building it up.
Yeah.
2017, I was sick. I was real sick, and 2017, I have something called Graves' disease. So I was a lot of downtime for me. I was in and out the hospital, surgeries. Almost had a heart attack. I really couldn't push it like I wanted to.
Yeah.
But now I got that surgery. I'm 100%. So now I'm just trying to make it to the top. It's a lot of money, a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears. People just think you can just say something and put it on a shirt. No, that's not the case. That is definitely not the case. It's machine, it's utensils, it's clothing, it's networking, it's vendors, it's shipping. It's my little daughter. trying to get work done with her. She's on my heels. So it's definitely a lot of work and time to put in.
Now you also have a full-time job too on top of that? Two. So yeah, so you working.
On top of that.
And you do coaching as well, right?
And I coach football. So I'm busy. Always running the streets, always running around, always dealing with kids, my own kids.
How many kids do you have?
I got four kids. 4 plus hers. I'm about to get engaged. I just got engaged in September.
Congratulations.
I love black love.
I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be big.
Do you have a wedding date set already? Or are you working on it?
She said October 23, but...
That's how you said. She said.
I'm not with no cold wedding. I'm with...
Yeah, but she going to be cold. So it's going to be all right.
I'm with at least September, beginning of September. But whatever she wants.
I'm coming.
She may come on. It's gonna be one big party.
I'm coming.
That's awesome. Do you instill entrepreneurship into your kids? Do you kind of because I think that's important. Now, do your dad owns? Is your dad who does the cooking? What's this?
My dad and my uncle.
Okay.
The chefs for the Bills.
Okay.
I've probably seen them all over TV. You don't watch football?
I do watch football, but I don't want to get put out of the studio, so I gotta be quiet.
My dad and my uncle, they chefs. Yep, that's my dad. Yep. Oh, really? Really? Yeah, that's my little sister. So it's a lot. My family stay busy. They so supportive.
Aww.
So you've seen entrepreneurship and obviously firsthand, so that's kind of now you're giving that to your family as well.
We owned a restaurant, now we getting a food truck. My fiance, she has her own business, she wax, so it's always something to do around my house. We stay busy.
So what do you put I guess what would you capture 2021? Like what was kind of like your moment?
Biggest moment probably was the whole engagement thing.
Getting engagement.
She spent her birthday out of town with her friends. Just so happens
Did you surprise her, not to cut you off? Did you? Okay, so tell me, can you give me some?
One of my best friends and her birthday is a day apart.
Okay.
So I called him like, oh, what you doing for your birthday? We having a party. Every year he has a big party. Jason Moore, shout out to Jason Moore. He didn't do it this year because of COVID. So I'm like, what you want to do? He's like, let's just go to D.C. That's where she was at. I'm like, all right. Gassed up my car, got an Airbnb. We stayed. I kept in contact with her friends to let me know where they were at so we wouldn't run into them, for example, like the mall. So we calling each other like, where y'all at? We at the mall. Okay, so we'd go to the mall on the opposite side of town. And she had a birthday dinner at Ruth Chris. Came in there, she had no clue what was going on.
That's dope.
Like, she looked like, we all dressed, me and my friends all dressed in black. They thought it was the police coming in there. Came in there, she just was like, the smile on her face was crazy. Like,
wow. Did you record it?
Yeah, I did.
Did you record it? Awesome.
I watch it.
That's awesome.
Time to time.
Oh, and you're sentimental too. Aww.
That's dope. So how long? I mean, not to be all in your business, but so how long was you dating her before you decided to pop that question?
Like 11 years. years.
Wow.
11 years.
She was a baby. She was 18.
Wow.
I met her in a club. I'm a big party promoter, so
Yeah.
I used to throw parties. Met her in a club. She ain't get away.
Aww.
So did you so what changed you? So 11 years, because I know there's lots, some people date for a long time and it's like, I just don't, maybe.
Everybody say that. Everybody say they're proud of me. I took a big step.
Yeah.
They know, they never thought, a lot of people, friends, family, never thought I would be getting married.
Yeah.
I never thought I would be getting married.
Because you way too player.
Right. But way too player don't mean...
I'm just messing
No,
with
but,
you. I'm just messing
but a lot of people think that. It doesn't mean that
No, I know. It
you're a
just means
player,
too
you're
cool,
cheat.
too,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know, I got you.
So I just was like, I'm not doing nothing but getting older. I did the party scene. I did the clubs. I did this. I did that. I want that family with the white picket fence with a lot of kids. So it's my 4 plus her 1. We got 1 together, so it's 5 kids total. Twins is 17, my son 15, her daughter 15, the baby is 3. So we
Wait a
got,
minute, 17. Black don't crack, huh?
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, I'm up there.
What?
36.
You're not up there.
I'm almost there.
Okay.
So it's like I want
This
that.
guy.
I want to
I
experience
wish I
that
was 36.
that family thing.
That's dope, man. That's really dope. So let's go over as we wrap up. Let's wrap up with what's the focus or the game plan? Not in too detailed, but what's kind of your drive for the new year? Anything that you I got my eye kind of set in this direction. Who wants to go first?
I start off.
Okay,
I want a storefront.
nice. Now let me ask you that. This is good because actually I was having this conversation with someone. Why a storefront? And the reason why, just statistically right now, especially where we are, is the brick and mortar. You got the Galleria Mall. No, we didn't even talk about the Galleria Mall stuff. But you look at the malls, hours reducing because the traffic in the malls. And I even noticed myself is when I go in the stores now, even though I want to support especially small businesses, a lot of the things people are not ordering things because, especially with the pandemic, is they not reordering because they don't want to have too much inventory. So I go into a store and I want to buy, some pants and they don't got my size. So now I'm forced to go online to buy, the product because they don't have the inventory to keep up unless, the turnover for the inventory. So I'm just interested. So not to put you on the spot, did you, what was storefront? So what's your vision for the storefront?
Just a big, huge, way too player sign in the front. I want a busy area that attracts Arabian, white, black, Spanish. Green, orange. I don't care. I just want to see that person walking down the street in a way too player T-shirt, and I can say, "Oh, I made that."
Love it.
So a storefront. I just want people just to be able to walk in,
Give them that experience.
shop around. You got this in the large? Yep. Or if no, I can go in the back and make it, for example.
And I love too. And then I think certain stores I go to, I think I think the passion and experience that you give, I think I've seen it in a couple shops that is unique. That you walk in there, you feel the vibe, and I think that's dope as well. So that's your open up a storefront. Why don't I go to Shuki? What's your
So for us, it's more advocacy.
Yeah.
I've been telling people on Facebook, make room for us because we're coming. And so my goal is to make sure that there's space for people who have autism because they need to have the opportunity to showcase what they can do. I think we still have this monolithic thought process that autism looks like Rain Man, if anyone's familiar with that movie. And there's just so many different facets to autism. And I want the opportunity for those individuals who are interested to have a place to say and see and do. Like, for instance, I'm hopeful in the new year that I'll be able to host my first job fair for people on spectrum. I haven't worked out all of the details yet, but that's where I'm going with it. I'm hoping that I can get them dressed, resume, prepared, and on-the-spot interview. People in the special needs community typically work for piece rate, and what that means is that every time I touch something, I get paid a certain dollar amount or cent as opposed to per hour based on capacity, and I'd like to see that changed. I think everybody has something that they contribute. I think it's just a matter of deciding what that is.
I love that. So Avion, what's the focus for 2022?
The focus for 2022 is finding is just getting myself more out there, just getting more customers, getting more involved in the community, offering more services, just honestly just elevating myself and just putting myself in a position just to win in 2022.
I love it. So I think for me, for 2022, I think just reflecting on 2021, I left a lot of money on the table. Not to be, because you realize, I don't know about you, I'm going to be very transparent. My procrastination has just hit me, I have, periods up and down.
I'm so glad you said that.
I can be really, if I'm, I have tunnel vision, I'm okay, I can do this, boom. But then there's a period where I'm just ugh.
Yep.
And I see the moments when I'm watching more TV and I'm just chilling and I'm I don't want to do, I just want to relax.
Yep.
So, and because of that, it kind of you leave opportunities on the table, or you have to do more research on marketing strategies on Facebook or in other social media, and you realize you got to invest that time to really study, because it is I believe that the more work you put into something, you have an advantage because what other people won't do. And so procrastination is definitely trying to decrease that, but also be more, like you kind of said, is just get out there and be more risk-taking. And again, the more I don't think about it, because I analyze a lot of stuff, I don't want to do this because I don't want to. But when I just jump out there and just okay, it is what it is, let me just do this, that's when I have no choice but to just go after it. And so that's kind of my focus for 2022. And then also with kind of what Avion said, expand. I was supposed to hire a few people probably 6 months ago. And because I just don't like interviewing people, I don't it's just so much work. I just rather do it myself.
Yep.
Because then I got to deal.
Do it right.
Yeah, because you and then you try to give people opportunities, and so I'm trying to get out of myself, because of realizing that you can't judge everybody. And so it is really difficult.
It is.
Of hiring the right person, especially when it comes to your stuff.
Yep. I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my
And so what I'm finding myself is being paying attention to the minor stuff, what you kind of talked about, the stuff where you really need to be focused on your creativity, but you caught in the weeds and seeds of methods and stuff processes, and I got to get out this stuff so I can do this.
It's funny you say that, because I was talking to one of my mentors in the crypto space, right? So I've been trying to launch my NFTs for months. And part of it, if I had to be honest, has everything to do with the sensitivity it comes with artistry, right? And then building an NFT community is different than building a community in Facebook, right? Because if I go live, I'm pretty personable, depending on what the content is. People want to rock out, talk with me, so forth and so on. In the NFT space, it's different. You know what I mean? And so then I got an anxiety attached to that, because it's now I'm the new kid on the block again. You know what I mean? And is my hair the right color? Do I got the right clothes on? Or whatever it is that goes along with being a new kid. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of that, but I'm trying to get out of my way in the process and just go.
That's dope. I love it. So I just want to thank you all for coming on the show and being part, like I said, the official Monday night show for this season, because there's just so much. What I learned, what I'm taking away from 2021 as well, especially from this podcast. In August, I had this thought of starting this podcast, didn't know what direction God was going to take me, and never doing a live before. Like I said, I don't do social media a lot. And so God put on my heart because I know a lot of people. I'm like, I call myself like a popular loner because I like to be alone, but I know a lot of people.
Right.
And God was showing me that through conversations that I was having with different people, networking. And so wouldn't it be great to share those conversations? Because a lot of times, especially when you're dealing with entrepreneurship, people, again, we talked about seeing this glamorous lifestyle of like, yeah, you're your own boss, but it takes a lot of work. You spending more money than you bringing in. There's a lot of investment into it. Like, you have to live this, especially if you really want to do it. And I would have conversations with individuals, and I'll walk away with like, wow. And so, and because I'm a type of person that I'm not a cliquish person, and I see that a lot in Buffalo where people just have certain groups they talk to. And I believe like what makes a really diverse and effective person is that you can reach out to different groups of people from all walks of life. And so when I was very strategic of people who I selected for the show, and even the people I bring on, because I don't want it just to be all corporate. I don't want it to be somebody who's just at the top of their prime. I wanted people from different walks of life to be able to put their spin and share their story on how they came to be to where they are. And even if they're still growing. And I think that helps us all because, again, learning from everybody. And not just, I had a conversation with a young person, and I said, I learned something from you. And I think if you come into any relationship, even when I do trainings with people, I'm not the expert in the room. Right. Once you believe you are the it in the room.
That part.
Like, you believe you can't learn from somebody. Like, I can learn from a homeless person. I can learn from a drug dealer. I can learn from anybody, pastor, teacher, whatever the case may be. And I think if you look at like, whether it's good, bad, or indifference, what you learn from them, but I believe like you can't be stuck in yourself. And I look at everybody who provide their time to be on the show. I've learned some great things from them, and I think what I learned the most out of everybody is giving.
Yep.
I believe that when you give to other people and not expect anything in return, God just blesses you full. Like, I have like opportunities that have come to my door. I was telling somebody about my book. I had somebody 2 weeks ago, a school in California bought 250 copies of my book.
Wow.
And because they saw like stuff of YouTube and things of that nature, like people I don't even know. And there's things that God has blessed me with that I didn't even ask for or even qualify for.
That part.
That you just,
like you said.
Yeah.
Yep,
You don't qualify for it. You're like, wow.
And so what God showed me, like the point the point where I'm at in my life is that the more you lift other people up, like when I talk to people, when I engage and do business with people, I rarely will sell you something, because I believe like if your intentions are right, that you don't have to beg, you don't have to steal, you don't have to rob somebody. But the part of when you lift other people up, like when you do business, like, you know, we got a couple billboards, like I stop putting my picture on certain things because it's about lifting somebody else up.
Yeah.
And I believe that comes back to not even though you're not expecting it, but it comes back because God has blessed you with the opportunity to wake up every single day, but to be in a peaceful state. Like I said, I take my peace. Like, I love peace. Like as older you get, you enjoy some peace. Like, I don't got time for drama. Don't come with no shot. Like, once somebody around me start talking about people, like I kind of like, I won't delete you, but I'll kind of like put you over there. Yeah. So if you don't have the mindset of trying to go somewhere, take it to another level. But I just love my peace. I love my creativity. I love the space of people who are thinking outside the box. And then knowing that what God is doing in your life, that you have meaning and purpose. And then what I tell people, like I have this anxiety, like I don't like to be around crowds and so forth, that what gives me the courage and the strength to do the things that I do is God instills in me that this is something bigger than me. And so when I reach out to people like I don't want to reach out to this person. I don't want to ask for help. I don't want to do this. And I was like, this is not about you, Rob. This is not about you. And so not to get all spiritual, but I think what keeps egos down and titles and positions, like when somebody starts name dropping somebody, that just a turn out to me. Like, I don't care who you know, man.
That part.
Just be yourself. Just come and tell me who you are. Don't name drop.
My favorite part when people name drop, especially like in the small space that we are in Buffalo,
Yeah.
like they don't know that you know the people. you know what I mean? They don't know that you're already in the room. You know what I mean? So they start saying names, and you like, yeah, nah, they don't.
Yeah, they don't do.
Yeah, like, or when you're looking at your, the last few text messages, you know who's in the lineup. Yeah.
Yeah. What you gonna say, DJ?
Yeah, it be that. Oh yeah, that's my cousin. He said I can get in the party for free. No, he didn't.
Right.
No, he did not.
Yeah, so again, I just want to thank all of you guys for just coming on the show, sharing about your business. So just prosperous new year and blessings to all the great things ahead of you. And so that is a wrap of our episode number 11. Make sure you join us tomorrow. We're going to be live at 12:30 with Lysandra Butler. She's going to give us some tips on financial goals for 2022, getting your finances in order, whether they're personal or business, trying to build capital, trying to turn those things over, trying to build that credit and all that good stuff, because credit rules the world, whether you believe it or not. If you don't got your credit in check, Lysandra is going to help us get there to the point. So until then, I'll see everyone tomorrow at 12:30. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for having.
Thank you. Bye.